Okay, so here's the thing. I don't really get iPad. I don't understand the correct or the ergonomic way to hold it. I see key reasons for using my phone or my computer, and I never really understood the usefulness of iPad. So here's the big question though. Can this holy grail of iPads, this 12.9-inch iPad, with keyboard and with trackpad support and infamously marketed as your next computer, can this reshape my workflow? Can this be my next computer? Let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about the overall design of this iPad. Just get this case off. So I can confidently say that this is the best looking iPad that Apple has ever made. And I mean, when iPads were first made, they did look good, but I would say that this is the closest they've ever gotten to what we all envisioned iPad looking like. We've got this sleek flat edge around the sides. We've got the rounded corners, which immediately make all other Apple devices look instantly outdated. We've removed that home button, and now Face ID works in any orientation, so you're actually able to rotate the device, and as you do that, Face ID will still work. And what's great is that it's so hidden away that, and you may not know exactly where it actually is when you go to unlock it, that if you have it covered, the arrow will point to exactly where it is, and it'll tell you that the camera is covered. So now let's talk about the display. It's got Apple's infamous liquid retina display. It's 120 Hz, true tone for color accuracy. It has ultra low reflectivity thanks to a coating applied that combined with 600 nits of brightness, making this the best viewing experience over any iPads before it, especially when viewing outside in daylight. So here's the thing though, if you're moving from a previous iPad Pro, you may not notice a huge difference over the display of this. Obviously it is massive, it's the best iPad they've ever designed, and while it's not that different from the previous model, if you're moving from an older generation iPad like I was with the iPad Air 2, this is a serious improvement in color and just overall clarity. So now let's talk about the cameras on this device, which you can see right here. Obviously it's got that new block very similar to the iPhone 11. It's got the new 10 megapixel ultra-wide camera that's powering the iPhone 11 Pro, along with the 12 megapixel wide camera. Performance on these cameras is great in my experiences, but a major question on my mind is, who's going to use this? I mean, really, you've got a 12.9-inch iPad. I'm not going to be the one walking around using this in my day-to-day. I mean, I guess you could if you really wanted to, and that's the whole point. It's letting people have these great features and letting them choose how to use them. But I just don't see the general public walking around with this to take photos. In my time using the camera on this, I can't help but think the features that they put into this back camera would be much better suited to the front for the general public to use in, say, portrait mode, using things like social media, taking photos, taking videos, calling. It seems like the front camera would be much more suited for these features. Okay, so one of the main reasons that someone might pick up this brand new iPad Pro is the new LiDAR sensor that's on the back here, and that stands for light detection and ranging. It's a massive improvement, as now instead of waving your iPad or iPhone around to find a flat surface and guess where to place items, the scanner actually projects dots around the room to measure space accuracy and immediately. LiDAR isn't new by any means, but it's new to consumer-facing tech like iPads. I haven't found a use for it, but I imagine with upcoming iOS 14 announcements and Apple glasses that this is going to play a larger part of the iOS ecosystem going forward, so it might change your mind. And if you're looking for a device that's really going to future-proof and one that's going to last you for a very long time, this is the iPad that can do that for you. This isn't one that's going to be discontinued next year. This isn't one that you're not going to be able to use all the newest features for a while. This is really the iPad for you if you're talking about scalability and longevity of your technology. So this is an improved processor with the A12Z Bionic Chip. Not only does it help with load times on apps, smooth gameplay, but it also makes things really snappy, which is something I noticed right away just by swiping through pages or scrolling through Safari. It's just those little things that most consumers are going to notice. You'll see that it really keeps up and it really just glides. Now that processor is also going to help power the LiDAR scanner, 3D design, 4K editing, and multitasking. So speaking of multitasking, this is something that I was really excited to start using on just such a massive device. I will say though, it took a little bit of getting used to for me. So if done correctly, you could actually have 3 apps open at once with their side-by-side split view and then the other app on top of that as well. But I found using 2 apps at once was the most natural way to go about it. Say browsing the web while subscribing to my YouTube channel and hitting that like button for the YouTube algorithm. So another great improvement on top of multitasking is now the keyboard and trackpad support that now comes with iPad. Now this is something that's really intuitive, and while I don't have the brand new Magic Keyboard case, I do have the limited edition Space Gray trackpad and Magic Keyboard to try out with this. Immediately once this was announced, everyone knew that this could be a game changer for the iPad, right? This could just be massive in terms of marketing this as an actual computer. And an important thing to note, that this isn't just about the iPad Pro. In reality, any iPad that can use iOS 13 is capable of having that keyboard and trackpad support. I tested it on an iPad Air 2 and it also worked well in that way. I found the overall experience pretty user-friendly, especially where the trackpad was concerned. Now you have a dynamic cursor that changes depending on what you hover over. Even so, I found myself going to touch the screen before I thought about the trackpad, but that could just be my old habits. And with more time with this device, I think I could definitely reshape my habits to start using that trackpad more. So overall, I think iPad is actually a really great device, and this is a really significant improvement on others. Is it your next computer? Well, for the average user, it might be very well, but for the technical user, it's just not quite there yet. It does have my vote for the future, and I do think that what you get with this device is the longevity, and all of the massive hardware that goes into it is going to make it a long-lasting device, but it's definitely not my long-term computer at this very moment. I can't say enough that this really is a great device, but ultimately it's going to rely on those third-party apps and that third-party software updating to take full advantage of it that can really change my mind. So that being said, I am going to keep using this iPad. I will keep you guys updated with future videos, and I am fully prepared to be wrong if I do find that this can be my regular device going forward. I know there are a lot of people who are trying it out. So I'm gonna keep you guys updated. Okay guys, so there you have it. That was my review on the 2020 iPad Pro. As always, hit that subscribe button on my channel. If you liked it, hit that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. And if there's anything else you wanna see on the 2020 iPad, comment down below. I'm always looking for new ideas for videos, and I wanna share more on the 2020 iPad with you guys. So that's it guys, see you in the next one.